right, thank you. Have a good night. All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Target Individual Experience. So, gotta see how long I gotta wait for the next bus here in the New York Predator Department. When I say I gotta see how long, I gotta wait for the next. There they go again. Being very, very subtle. Very, very subtle. All right? Very, very subtle. Yeah, as I was saying, yes, the 8 criteria of thought reform, Robert Jay Lifton. So I might be out here waiting for quite a few. Let's see. Right. Okay, not bad. 11 minutes. 11 minutes. I thought it was going to be 8 minutes. Oh, hear the sirens? Is that sirens over here? What am I hearing? Oh, that's his engine. Holy shoot! Need to work on that engine, my man. Driving all fast. Come on, bro. Look at that. Driving all fast just to get to there. You know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. So who's kicking the bucket? Who is kicking the bucket? I heard him. Yeah, that's what they do. You know, the behavior of these people is something else, man. It's like if I didn't experience what I've experienced, you know, I would have to say it would be hard for me to believe, right? But if I had the knowledge of what I know and I wasn't a TI and somebody was telling me that it was being done to them, I would believe them. I would say I wouldn't believe them. I would know that it is. I would definitely say, you know what? You're probably right. You know, you're probably right. Because again, you know, they manipulate us, they keep us ignorant, they lie to us about technology. You know, I was showing the woman that was braiding Alyssa's hair, right? I showed her an article from the 1970s, Dr. Jose Delgado, CIA brain scientist. What kind of human would you like to construct? With the sirens? Yes, that's right. That's right. So Dr. Jose Delgado, go look it up. What, New York Times, 1970, what type of human beings would we like to construct? Now, you know, they've been very silent until now, right? You hear the sirens? Right? Because again, exposing what it is that they're doing and how they're doing it. That's right. I'll keep doing it. I'll keep exposing what the hell they all are doing. And I'll keep exposing it over and over every single day. Right? So, again, the New York Times article, Dr. Jose Delgado, 1970s. What kind of human being would we like to construct? And then there he talks about the microchip called the stem receiver. Right? And it is what? It was used for what? To control the behavior of the animals that they were implanted with. Okay? So yeah. They are not, let me tell you something. They are not slick, right? And like I said, they know that when I talk about certain things, they will use their sirens. Okay? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead with your bad self. So I was showing her, right? And she didn't, you know, she was like, oh, this. I said, that's not new. They've been doing this since the 1970s. You know, so I said to her, I said, you know, you see that strand of hair, right? You see, you can see with the human eyes, right? So, you know, in microchips production and creation and production of microchips, we're talking about transistors that are nanometers small, right? Excuse me. Right now they're at 2 and 3 nanometers, right? Most cell phones have 4, 5, or 7 nanometers, right? I said now a human, the human hair, I have to look it up. The human hair is around I think 80,000 to 100,000 nanometer. Okay, what's going on here? What is? Oh, it's the pickup truck, the garbage truck. Oh yeah, they're garbage. You know, they know they're garbage. They know they're garbage. What's in the garbage, man? Yeah, they know they're garbage. Not you, garbage man. But you know, the New York Predator Department, man, they're criminal officers. They're criminal predator officers. They're garbage. All right, those who engage in crimes against the public, they're garbage. Right? So right, so the human here is 100,000 to 80,000 to 100,000 nanometer in width, right? Transistors in microchips are scaled at, like I said, any from 5, 4, 7 nanometer, even 10 nanometer, which is considered to be, you know, a few generations in computer chip age, right? So 10 nanometer would be like in 2017, actually 2020. Before that they had 14 nanometer, which is around 2017, right? And now they're at, like I was talking to, I said to Alyssa, I said your computer chip, right? The transistors in there is scaled down to 10 nanometer because she's on Zen 2, right? Me and Ethan, my other son Bryce, we're at our processor has, what is it, 7 nanometers, right? And you know the Zen 4, the Zen 5, Zen 4 is 5 nanometers, and then Zen 5 is I think 5 plus nanometers, something like that. It's just a refresh, you know. But anyway, it's pretty small, right? You know, it's so small that human beings cannot build microchips, not at the size that they are. You need advanced robotics, right? Because we're talking about very tiny transistors on a wafer, and you know it's a marvel, right? And I keep saying that, you know, we as black people, particularly African nations, need to start investing in developing microchips, developing electronics, and creating electronics, right? Producing electronics and these things, right? For our people to move forward in a way that's going to be beneficial for our people, we need young people to go into STEM, engineer. Even though they're talking about AI and you don't need to go into that field, go into that field, because we're going to need our young people in the future to be able to build things. You know, they want us to rely on AI and robotics because that's what they do. This is when I talk about the people that are shaping this society. and they're insane. They're literally insane. Okay, so you're going to need people to build things. You know, this is why, like I said, every once in a while, if I can, I will build a PC, right? Because not only does it help me decompress, you know, just the few hours that it takes me to do it, it's such a huge decompression in terms of my target, and knowing that I can still do it, right? I can still build it. It may take me a little longer, but I can still do it, okay? And so to be able to do that, and again, that's just build a computer. That's pretty easy, all right? Now trying to repair parts of a computer, that's another story. Later. Hey, just me and you tonight, huh? You know, I was talking to somebody that said, you know, we have to start pushing our children into the STEM field.
I hear you, sir.
I said we have to start pushing our children into the STEM fields.
Oh.
You know, science, math, engineering, technology.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, because when you look at the population of black people who are in those fields, it's a very small percentage of us.
Definitely.
Right? And so without us having a higher number of people in those fields, it put us as a people backwards. You understand? Because the majority of us don't understand technology.
True.
We use it, but we don't understand it. We don't know the dangers of having, you know, technology, even like our cell phone, right? We use it, but we don't quite understand how it works. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see parents giving their children cell phones, you know, I'll tell them, I said, you know, your child should not be having a cell phone, right?
It's a gift and a curse.
It's put it like this. Cell phones have radio receivers and transmitters, right? Radio wave frequency, when it comes to children, it can cause them great harm, cognitively and psychologically, right? There have been studies on this since the 1970s. You know, if you look at the reports on the biological effect of microwave and radio wave frequency on the human body, you should know that children under the age of 12 should not be having cell phones. They should not have any electronic device that have radio frequency transmit and receiver. Right? Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, that's fine. But you have parents buying their children iPads without understanding the danger, right? Because these frequencies, right, are what they call modulated, right? So they send out pulse, and those pulse interfere with our biology as well as our psychology. When you think about, you look at you know, if you know anything about science and the Earth, right? You know, the Earth have what is called electromagnetic field. That affects us, right? As human beings, we are bioelectrical, meaning that, you know, that electromagnetic field, without that, we can't live. You know what I'm saying? Is the reason why when people get a heart attack, they jumpstart the heart with a jolt of electricity, right? When you walk on carpet, you get static, right? Every neutron in our brain that fires off a signal is an electrical signal, electrical impulse, right? With these devices, because they're not regulated in a way that's safe for human beings, we use it. But I tell you what, if you sleep with your cell phone in your bed for an entire year, there's a chance that you might get a tumor or even cancer, right? So children should not, and they'll tell you, the experts will tell you, children under the age of 12 should not have cell phones. My children didn't have cell phones until they hit 12, right? So that is something that, you know, I understand, you know, people are like, okay, well, what happens if they're in school? Well, if they're in middle school, that's fine, right? If they have their phone. But children should not be using phone. And besides, when children use phone, they don't use headphones or earplugs or anything like that. They hold the phone up to their ears. You understand? So because of our lack of understanding these things, we think that it's okay to give children a cell phone. And it's not. It really isn't. And what we are doing is that we are destroying their cognitive ability. The more they have cell phone as they get older, it affects their brain. Their brain is not fully developed. But at least when they are 12 years old, it is developed enough to where they're not going to be on their phone 24/7, right? Young kids, you know, you give them phones and tablets, you take it away from them, you see how they behave, right? That's all part of it, because these devices cause what is called brain entrainment, right? The frequency of the screen, the refresh rate, all right, the refresh rate of these things can be used to what's called brain entrainment. Basically, kind of hypnotize you. You know what I'm saying? And there's a technology called dream inoculation, right? So what's it called? TDI, right? What it is that they can use radio wave and microwave frequency when you're sleeping to alter your dream, or to instill a dream in your subconscious mind. Right? How many of us know these things? Right? So imagine the people that are developing these things, right, is not going to tell you and I those things, or the public those things, particularly for us as black people, because we are not in those fields in a significant number to where we can come into our community and tell other black people what's going on, or what is that they do. You understand? So to keep us ignorant is to keep us under their control. When they create technology to manipulate our mind, to control us, it is because we're ignorant, because we don't understand technology, because there's not a lot of us that are in those types of fields. You understand? So I always say, you know, when you keep knowledge from the people, right, those that are in position of authority will always manipulate you, and you will always believe them, right? Because we have no knowledge to have any sort of critical thought. Sure, right? You're welcome. Right, and the lack of, they tell you, going forward, all these billionaires and millionaires that, you know, pushing society how they want society to be, they tell you that the most important skill going forward that you're going to have, other than whatever job skill you have, is the ability to think critically, right? These are the billionaire class, right? And you see now they are attacking education, because they don't want people to be educated anymore, because what? They're going to rely on AI. So it's to keep you dependent on a technology that they create to control you and manipulate you. The loss of skills, the loss of creativity. Now you can, you know, if you want to create a song, you don't got to write the lyrics. You can let AI do it for you, right? You know what I'm saying? If you want to take, you know, do your test or write a report, they let AI do it for them. So it's taking away people's ability to process information, to think, right? It takes away their attention. And, you know, they use words like, you know, if you don't if you don't believe in AI, then you're the Antichrist. You know, they use words like that because they understand how people are conditioned with religion. And so, you know, we can get them to accept these things because they'll say, well, it's ordained by God, right? Or if you don't like it, that means that you're the Antichrist. You know what I'm saying? Because they think we're stupid, right? That's what it is, because they have no respect for us, because to them, they are of a different race of people, right? And when you understand history, you understand their psychology. They have what is called the dark triad personality traits, right? So, you know, there's a lot of things that we tend to ignore, and, you know, because we are conditioned to be a certain way. New York fell to the bottom, man. That's what I call them, man. Because, you know, that's what they are, though. You know that, right? They are predatory. Don't ever forget that. Right? How old are you?
33.
All right, man. Well, I'm 54 years old, man. Let me tell you. And growing up in the 80s, right? You want to talk about a occupying police force? It was them. That's why I call them the New York Predator Department. Always remember that when you see them. They're not the finest and the bravest. I understand that. They're a bunch of cowards. And I say that they're a bunch of cowards because, again, microchipping people and trying to get away with it, right? Setting people up because when you come forward so they can come and harm you or arrest you or institutionalize you so they can hide what it is that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And the good cops, you know, is the ones I feel sorry for because there's nothing they can do, you know? And we need good police officers, not predators. But like I said, their time is coming. Their time is coming. And people are going to have to choose either to continue to believe in their lies or to see the truth, accept the truth, and unite. Because if we as black people, was that California plates? No. Because if we don't, the future generation of our children, will be non-existent, will be null and void. If we don't adapt the mindset that what they do to us, we have to do to them. If we cannot be just as cruel as our enemy is cruel to us, then we've lost. We've lost. So I'll say this again, my people. Put your children in self-defense class. Teach your children the law. All right? Teach them their history, their true history. Because once they start to have a conscious mind, an awakened mind, a Christ mind, they can't kill all of us. Remember that. They can't kill all of us. And when they kill one of us, we got to kill one of them, or two, or three, or four. You know, and I'm not saying this just to talk reckless, because I'm not. What I'm saying is that there are those in positions of authority whose position and whose job is to ruin the lives of our people, of our young men and women, of our young teenagers, right? And it's because they're in that position that they can do it without any repercussion. And like I said, when you have to work alongside predator racist cops who are sending email to each other disparaging black people while working alongside black people, you know, you gotta stop this, you know, go along just to get along. You have to confront them and you have to let them know that, listen, you know, I always say they always want us to change. They want us to change so they can continue to abuse us and manipulate us and we say nothing. But we gotta tell them, if you don't change, what's coming, you're not gonna like it. All right? Anyhow, talk to you guys in the next video.